What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Today, we've got rumors that we have to talk about a potential meeting between an associate of Cherubini's and the entourage of Di Maria happening today in Paris, or Paris, if you will. Will it actually get solidified? Will this be the first one to pop for Juventus in the summer mercado, or will Paul Pogba come back and take his spot? We'll fill you in on all that happening today. Stick with us. We'll fill you in. I guess I just said that, but I'm saying it again. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro. Today it's Saturday, May 28th, 2022. And of course, I got your latest rundown of all things Juventus, all the news that you care about each and every day. Before we do anything though, please go ahead, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. Let's just jump into it, because this one, hopefully it won't be too long, but we'll get you in and out. All right, very first news story of the day is talking about Paul Pogba, Di Maria. Is it the weekend of, or are we going to be sit here stuck with our thumbs up, or you know what, waiting for it to happen? Anyway, Tuttosport comes in with a report saying that a close collaborator of Cherubini is expected in Paris today, meeting in sight with Angel Di Maria's entourage to try to close the deal. Confidence is growing for the return of Paul Pogba to the Bianconeri. Paul has given his willingness to return, but at Continenza, they still take nothing for granted. At least until the future of Zinedine Zidane, courted by PSG, is clear. The French midfielder, in fact, is a favorite of Zizou, who also wanted him at Real Madrid. To which I respond with that, why don't you just get the deal done? And then we don't need to worry about Zizou. Then we don't need to worry about Zidane. If you get him to sign the paper now, and you give him the money you offer him, and we wrap this up. Maybe we get this done this weekend before Zidane can even go into PSG. How about that? How about we just do that? Yeah, maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do it. Here we go. Anyway. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you updated. We'll keep following the situation going on with Paul Pogba. But when it comes to Di Maria, though, today could be a very big day to get the deal done, to finalize him being the first member to come to Juventus and then get a clear picture for what this mercado really means for the club. Let's continue on, though. Next one up, though, we have more Paul Pogba waiting on Juventus news. Supposedly, Gazzetta dello Sport are saying that Pogba is on holiday in Miami, so he's not too far. Well, he's like 19 hours from me. Let's not kid ourselves. United States is not that small. And is just waiting for his agents to tell him that everything is in place and that he can present himself for the signings. A meeting is missing between the parties, but a basis of agreement is already there. At the moment, the date of a new meeting is not fixed, but both sides are calm. The new marriage between the French midfielder and Juventus will take place to the legitimate satisfaction of both. Paul will be one of the highest paid players in the club in Juventus' squad, along with De Ligt and Vlahovic, and one of the pillars of the rebuild. So what we know right now is, because Zenit Sport have all their eggs in one basket, just saying Juventus is going to happen, it's Juve. It's just a matter of time, and he's just waiting. He's waiting for whatever needs to get done with his, the Ryla group. I think it was Pimenta, her name, the lawyer, his agent there, to get negotiations done with the final numbers or whatever. Paul Pogba was ready to come back to Juve. I mean, we've seen all the hints, all the whatever. At this point, we're just, like I said earlier, we're just twiddling our thumbs right now as we wait for this to happen. There's not as much drama as I think they're trying to build it up to be, and I'm hoping that's correct. We'll see if Zizou, Zidane, whatever, if he comes in and he ends up, coming into PSG, becoming the new coach, coming in there and taking Paul Pogba away from us in the last second. My thing is get the deal done before anything can be solidified, and then you don't need to worry about that. That's my personal opinion, especially given all the I would just say all the, I don't want to say rumors, but the hints that have been given out there by Paul Pogba, the hairstyle, his barber saying Pogba back with the black and white. We know what that means. It's all about Juventus. He's ready to come back to Juve. Terenza's home. Let's just get it done with so we can move on in the mercado. There's a lot more to talk about. And then also, not just move on the mercado, but actually just get into it and really just talk about what the player does for Juventus moving forward into the season. We got a coach's corner. I know Julian's had that thing fired up, ready to go for any moment, and it's just sitting there collecting dust right now. All right, let's continue. Strikers, we got to talk about the striker position when it comes to Juventus in the mercado. Who will they go after? And that is Tutto Sports reporting, saying that basically they're looking at options to replace that of Alvaro Morata. Yesterday, there was a summit in Paris between Morata's entourage and Atletico Madrid. I'm not even going to try it. The Colchoneros, is that right? Anyway, want to understand if Juventus will buy the player or take a step back. The latter is the most probable option. The first, the old lady will try to obtain a discount, a difficult but not yet impossible hypothesis. The contacts in the first days of next week will be decisive. In the meantime, Juventus is thinking about alternatives to the Spanish striker. Muriel and Martial. I'm not going to read the first name. I'm not going to get it out. No way in hell am I saying that first name ever again. I'm not doing it. I'm not linking him with Juventus. The fact that somebody tried to put that out there again, I'm not having it. Your boy's not having it. I'm not saying that name. No way. 3 years ago, he's been rumored, longer than that. No way. No chance. Not doing it. Not doing it. Not going to make me. All right. Muriel seems to be an option. We'll see about Martial. Like I said, I'm not touching the other one. Moving on. Let's get back into another potential option when you're looking at strikers and Juventus' attack, who they're going to end up bringing in. Tudo Sports reporting, saying that Moise Kean is ready to say goodbye in order to play more. PSG and West Ham are on his trail, but first Juventus will have to buy him from Everton for 28 million euros. With Kean out of the picture and Morata, whose future hangs in the balance, the old lady is ready to go for Raspadori. Valued at 30 million euros, the Bianconeri are looking for a creative fit with Sassuolo. The hypothesis is of the inclusion of a player does not excite Carnevale. Of course, it's not going to excite Carnevale. Now Carnevale is going to do the heel turn from, obviously early on where he was always the nice guy and I would love to come sit at the table with Juventus and we do great deals with Juventus and we do all these lovely things, yada, yada, yada. And now Mercado time's coming. And then this is where Carnevale turns heel and starts acting like a total AH, and then we get to see how this goes. I do understand the idea of not wanting to include a player. Maybe a player like Fajoli, like we talked about before, but I do also understand wanting to make some money off of it. Either way, I'm not too worried. We know that Cherubini and Arriva Bene have a good relationship with Carnevale, and that they were able to get him to be he appeased Juventus. Is that what I'm trying to say? I was almost going to today, Junior. Anyway, he, for the most part, will come to the table and deal with Juventus, and it usually is fortuitous for Juventus in the end. So at this point, I'm not super worried, but I think this is a player, though. To me personally, I have a lot of stock in bringing in Raspadori in the summer mercado. He's the one guy that I really want to see happen. All the other ones, of course, I really want to see Pogba, and I'd love to see Milinkovic Savic, but he's the one guy that I'm a little bit less like. It's just more of a youth product that I think can really develop into something special for the club, for the Azzurri, for all of that. So I think, to me, I really want to see Raspadori come to Juventus. We'll see how it goes. Again, I'm not too worried about, there's going to be a lot of nonsense, guys. There's going to be a lot of it in the coming weeks, months, whatever you want to say. And, Raspadori may be a player that you get at the end of the Mercado. That may be what it is. But you know what's going to happen. You know the things that are going to be said. The Carnevale is going to either shut it down, play a little hardball, kind of like the Locatelli stuff. And in the end, it's just not going to work out for him, and Juventus are going to get a good deal overall for the player, some kind of loan or some kind of deal that'll be fortuitous. That's what I'm sticking with that. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. I'll eat the crow at the end. All right, let's continue on with another option that Juventus could bring in. We talked about Di Maria. We talked about this. Now it looks like Perisic will end up actually, instead of renewing with Inter, he now looks like he'll be potentially going to Tottenham to reunite with Antonio Conte there. But another option, guy behind him that could be interesting and very intriguing for Juventus, especially given that he is a compatriot of Dusan Vlahovic. They would work well together, is that of Kostic. Filip Kostic, Tudo Sports reporting, is the strongest candidate for Juventus' left flank. The player, in addition to having a contract expiring in 2023 and being valued at 15 million euros, also shares a national team with Vlahovic, which can help. Juve are evaluating the Serbian's dossier. The price and the salary, including 2.5 million euros, are absolutely affordable and in line with the club's new policy, which foresees big investments only for young players. On the other hand, Max Allegri wants ready players, and Kostic may have the right characteristics to fit into a squad that will have to go for the Scudetto next season. So yeah, again, I mean, I don't want to just repeat myself at this point. If you guys have been on the channel, we've talked about Kostic plenty of times. Kostic would be a good option for Juventus to bring in. I think pretty highly of him. I think he's a good player, and I think he'd be a nice cheaper option. For being what he is and not being a super young player that could be very suitable, and hopefully that chemistry that he already has with Vlahovic playing for the Serbian national team would be something that would transfer over to Juventus and really help to actually get him back on scoring pace that we know Vlahovic can be on, right? You need a guy who can be creative and do that. So we'll see. Di Maria, Kostic, how's this going to work out? Raspadori, all these different players that were rumored with Juventus. How are these going to work out in the end? Keep an eye on that. All right. Talking about another player that I have to read this, so here we go. But it's what it is. Bologna player. Corriere dello Sport's talking about initial contacts between Juventus and Arnautovic's entourage. The Austrian striker has been identified as the ideal backup to Vlahovic. Napoli, AC Milan, and several Premier League clubs are also interested in Marco. But Bologna have already stated that they do not intend to deprive themselves of the player in the next transfer window. Mihailovic does not hide the fact that Arnautovic could end up in the sights of a team fighting for the Scudetto, but he prefers to remain calm, also because so far no one has told him that certain interests would already be very concrete. So there you go. That's all I'm going to say on this one. There's another option for Juventus if they end up needing. I think some of the other options we mentioned earlier, I'd be a little bit more excited about. Obviously, like a Muriel would excite me a bit more than Arnautovic. That's a backup striker for Vlahovic. That's just me personally. But this is definitely another option that they could look at moving forward. Let's talk about the right and left back positions, though, and what's going on there for Juventus. Right now, Corriere dello Sport's reporting that Juventus have made contact with Udinese for Destiny Udogie. They are talking about a 10 to 15 million euro plus bonuses deal. The 2002 born fullback will be paired with Alexandro. So, I mean, it's all but confirmed at this point. Alexandro and Pellegrini will be on his way out of the club. Pellegrini will leave the Bianconeri as he wants to play more, just overall. In case the Brazilian fullback also leaves, the first name is Emerson Palmieri, but let's not forget Wijndal as well for the right. Instead of waiting for the renewal with DeCilio, Bellanova and Molina are also liked. I think probably getting Udogie and Molina out of Udinese is going to be very difficult, so I don't see that happening. It's going to be probably one or the other. Bellanova could be an interesting name, but going back to the left back position, one of the things that sticks out to me is personally that. Is it slightly reassuring? I know a lot of people this does not excite and this probably makes you more frustrated. But is it at least a little bit reassuring that they're kind of putting it in a perspective that Udogie is the very first one up? That's the one you get in. And then if Alexandro were to leave, Emerson Palmieri as well. I'm not on the Emerson Palmieri train. Definitely would probably want Wijndal instead of him as well. But he's at least the second one that you'd bring in, not before Udogie. So I don't know. I'm trying to, glass half full it for you guys. But I know Emerson Palmieri is not a name that really excites anybody, and that would really be anything that you would want to see at the club. So take it for what it's worth, but I think it's at least a little bit better than saying Emerson Palmieri over Udogie being the target, and instead be Udogie, get him. If if Alexandro leaves, I'm laughing because I know it's not going to happen. But if he were to leave, then you go after Emerson Palmieri. So we'll see that. Keep an eye on that as that situation continues to develop too. And I'm pretty sure I've said that like 17 times a day in this video. All right, last bit of news we have for you guys today is regarding Koulibaly over there at Napoli. Tutto Sports reporting that a new contact is scheduled between Koulibaly's agents and De Laurentiis to discuss the renewal, but the payout or the pay cut does not convince the Senegalese defender. I don't know why I thought that I couldn't say Senegal and then add the E's at the end. I don't know why. Anyway, besides Juventus, Barca, and Chelsea and Newcastle are also interested in the player. So there's going to be, this is again, I talked about this yesterday, and I think overall the situation is going to be one that's really just not going to pan out for Juventus. I think overall, those other options are going to be more appealing, not only to Koulibaly because they can pay him a little bit more, but also to that of De Laurentiis, who would rather, instead of reinforcing Juventus's defense, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to sell to Barca or Chelsea or Newcastle, who they're not even competing with on the same level, right? So that's where I sit with that one right now. We'll continue to watch it because in case anything does change, and then I can really buy more back into it and say, okay, Juventus are actually serious, and somehow De Laurentiis is going to work with them to bring in this player to the club, then I'll be fully on board. But it just seems right now, to me, I think it's a not even a real story because I just don't think all the little pieces are really going to fit together right now. That'll do it for today's show. Appreciate each and every one for tuning in. As always, if you haven't, please hit the like button, smash that subscribe button, and also hit the bell icon to stay notified for all our latest videos. Please follow me at Justin Sofro on Twitter, as well as make sure you're following Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We'll see you guys next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.